Alright, welcome everybody to part 6 of mixing with Waves plugins, where we're doing an entire mix with nothing but Waves plugins, and then also doing the same mix of the same song with nothing but stock plugins, and then finally nothing but Slate digital plugins. And at the very end, we'll compare the three mixes and hear how they differ. And today we're going to be looking at backing vocals. So this is going to be somewhat of an easier one in comparison to the last video. Last video we did keys, which was quite a struggle. And with the backing vocals, I panned them left and right to leave room in the center for the lead vocals. And I'm not going to do too much to the channels here. I'm going to do most of my processing on the bus. But what I will do on the channels is add the console emulation. And other than that, that'll be it. So let's go ahead and get started, and we'll talk about the changes at the end.
Sitting in this room, finally alone, with a peace of mind that I've been searching for. All I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there like the stars. Give of the present lives in your heart. So let's enjoy our time. I'ma lean on you, you lean on me, so good when we're together. Hey, sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. Love always saves me. Love always saves me. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh, oh. Ooh, oh. We are. Ooh, oh. Ooh, oh. We are.
Okay, so let's take a look at that. So, as always, I've been using the NLS channel on each of the individual channels, and that's just, it gives it a real nice bottom end. Even though in these backing vocals I don't need a lot of bottom end, it just fills it in a very pleasing way. So, next was Saphira, which I'm using mostly for the tape sound, but the harmonics section of this is really great too because, in my opinion, it really helps your analog emulation plugins sound a little bit more realistic, kind of helps them out. So I was trying just the default setting and a preset here called Vocal Opener, and I ended up sticking with the Vocal Opener. I tried adjusting it a little bit, but to me, the preset sounded pretty good. As far as the SSL channel, I rolled out a lot of the bottom end because I don't need all that body in the backing vocals. I'd rather have the body in the lead vocals. And the lead vocals kind of double that part. Some of the backing vocal parts are doubled by the lead vocal also. And to kind of tame some of the top end, I did use a low pass filter as well. About 18K. Probably can't really hear that anyway, so figured make room for the hi-hat and the boost that I'm going to do on the lead vocals. To make things a little more clear, I boosted about half a dB at 8K, and this is a shelf. To make room for the lead vocal, as well as the guitars, I cut out some 2K, about 5 dB there. And to get rid of some muddiness, I took out about 4 dB of 400. And this EQ is really, really great for just carving and really shaping a tone of something while still sounding natural. And also on here, I experimented with the compressor, but to me, I didn't really like what that compression was doing, so I went to the black 1176. And for backing vocals, this is my pretty much go-to attack and release. Lead vocals, what I would do is I would just make it all the way slow, but to make it sit back a little bit more, I speed it up for the backing vocals. And getting about 3 dB of compression here. I turned the analog off because I don't want a lot of hiss here. And then I just adjusted the output until I thought it was sitting nice in the mix. Because without the compression, these backing vocals are a little bit pokey. They kind of stand out a little bit too much, and this kind of just rounded it all out and made them sit better in the mix. And then for our one exception of the Waves plugin rule, which I do explain in the description there, I'm using a UAD 140 UAD EMT 140 plate for all my reverbs, and I used plate B because it's kind of a darker plate. I just shortened up the reverb tail, rolled off some of the low end in there, kept the width at 100% because I wanted to give these vocals some space, and this is also going to be shared with the lead vocals, this reverb here. And then to add a little bit of modulation on the tail, I just adjusted this to taste. And I usually use quite a high pre-delay. This is a Chris Lord Algae trick. I use a long pre-delay on the vocal reverbs because I want it to really separate from the dry source. And then, as with pretty much all my reverbs, I almost do this all the time. I rolled off the low end and the top end. And I've done this in many videos and actually dedicated a video to this as well. And then just blended it into taste, which usually for me is around minus 10 dB. So it was pretty quick. I did a little bit of experimentation here with different things. And that's the great thing about having these kind of plugins, having different compressors and different EQs, is you can try different sounds and get different tones. That's really what's going to be the difference between the three mixes, in my opinion, is the different tone that the plugins are giving. It's going to sound very similar because I'm doing very similar things, but each emulation is different, and each plugin and different EQ and compressor is different. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, you could give it a thumbs down. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion, as I always say. If you really liked this video, please subscribe. I would greatly, greatly appreciate that. Thank you so very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day.